Shalom and good day, all. This is Tehillim29 back again for the Super Sons Fortress of Attitude, to which in this I'll be covering a review on Batman and Robin issue 20 by Philip Kennedy Johnson. So as you can see here, I have the main cover plus some variants. About the only one I'm sort of missing there is, I think it's the incentive variant. But let's move into first things first, and that is in relation to the cover rating and how these sort of like reflect within the story, or whether they do or not, or if I just personally like the cover because the way it brings across the characters. So starting with the first cover, which is on the left hand side, I give a 6.5 out of 10, as I feel it could have brought across a little bit more of what it was actually trying to in connecting to the story of what's happening inside. On the next one on the right, I give it a 7 out of 10, and last but not least, a 6.5 out of 10 for the top one. I'll now get things ready and organized as we move into having a look at the area of the internal art around the beginning, middle, of course, the end. And of course, don't forget, DC is still being a bit of a cheapskate when it comes to these covers and won't actually give us proper, genuine variant covers. So as we start to move into the beginning of the story, we get to see some of the things from Thomas Wayne's journal, and you realize there is actually quite a bit that's actually written in the journal by Thomas Wayne himself, which is sort of like meant for him to give to Bruce Wayne, and I thought that was actually really nice, as I like the idea of it. And it's also something that Damian Wayne has also been reading through too, that we learn in the story. Of course, as we start to move into the beginning, or the key beginning of the story, we see the events of the time they take place, and of course we see all the members of the Bat family putting in the effort to try to find out what's happening with Damian, as well as we know that one of the Dr. Bashir, has also been killed by the character known as who is calling themselves Memento, but who are they really? Slowly drawing towards the middle of the story, we get to see a bit of we get to see some things of Bruce Wayne going into Damian Wayne's room, and he gets to see how Damian is actually working on a particular comic involving himself as well as Batman. As much as I like Junibar, I'd have to disagree with some of the people who say that they quite like the art style being used here. I'm going to have to slightly disagree, because I think it would have been good to see like a transition of Damian Wayne's art styles, of just to show him in a way of experimenting with different types of art style before bringing this Robin and Batman story to the table. All right, that's my only criticism of this. Now, I understand what they're trying to do with the story, of how it also interconnects with Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne's investigations on who Memento might be. We get to see some of the story take place and some of the events that show up as well. And we get to see so much of the story that Damian Wayne talks about. So in other words, basically, this is just a refresher story of letting us know of what has happened in previous issues. About the only thing I might disagree with is for Damian Wayne to become a doctor, because if it's one thing that I've sort of learnt with Damian Wayne's character, he'd probably be a better businessman than an actual doctor. So in other words, Lucius Fox could teach him to be a good businessman at Wayne Enterprises. And therefore, still continuing the Wayne legacy. And of course, we see that Damian Wayne also has his own notes on Memento, to which no doubt we will be following in the next issue. So, for the internal art, I give a 6 out of 10. That's right, a 6 out of 10. And normally when things start to fall a bit closer to the 5 o'clock, the 5 to the 4 mark, things start to fall into fool's gold territory. And it'll be basically, do you actually deserve to earn my dollar or not? Next is the area of the story. So next thing, considering how far we are issue-wise, did we get any comic book references to any of the previous issues? The answer is no, we didn't. Next is the area of time, to which we had basically 6:25 to 6:39 p.m. That's what I managed to get out of like the time frame that was sort of posted within the story. Next is the locations that we got to see in the story. Some were mentioned, some were shown within the story. So we had mainly Gotham, we had Sacred Heart, and we also had London. So in that we had Damian doing a bit of a comparison of some of the events that had taken place in London, as well as taking place in Gotham. So in that, he did a little bit better in his investigations than what Bruce Wayne did in, like, comparing the past with the future with Memento. Next is the cast of characters. Of course, we got to see Thomas Wayne, Alfred, Red Hood, Nightwing, Red Robin. We had Spoiler. Of course, we got to see a list of other characters, such as Oracle, Gordon, Damian Wayne Robin, Catherine, and last but not least, the character of Memento, who we're still trying to learn who that character is, and unveiling the mystery behind him. For the overall story rating, I give it a 6 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.